Welcome to the Angel Mystic Podcast. I am super excited you are listening because this is where spiritually open minds can come together to explore the wonders of angels, spiritual connections, and the art of manifesting. Hosted by me, Amanda Tooke, the Angel Mystic, your spiritual midwife to help you on your journey to a fulfilling and happy life. You may have seen me on ITV, Channel 4, or even in Fate and Fortune magazine. In each episode, we will delve into the mystical world of angels, offering you insights, guidance, practical tools to deepen your connection with the upstairs so that you can find inner peace, happiness, joy, and create the life that you want. Tune in for weekly, fun conversations, transformational insights that will elevate your spiritual journey and awaken your inner mystic. Please hit subscribe now as we embark on a transformational adventure with the Angel Mystic Podcast. Welcome to the Angel Mystic Podcast. Whether you're new or you've been here before, you're going to love my special guest today. This is Jackie Dennison that we have with us, and she has worked on loads of amazing opportunities, but she's also done Rescue Mediums TV show. So I'm delighted to have you here, Jackie. Thank you for being here and welcome.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I have to say I'm a little bit starstruck because I follow all of your work, all your writings and everything else that you do, and I think you're an amazing lady, and I just feel a bonding to you straight away. I mean, apart from the hairdo that we obviously have the same, different colours, but the same style. But yeah, thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I've watched your work over the years, and I've seen, because I remember that you used to have a shop. I always remember I wanted to go to the shop, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, started as a shop as well. Now it's all online like yours is. But yeah, I can remember wanting to go to Feathers and having a little mooch around there. So I'm delighted to speak to you today. So perhaps you could tell us how you got into this world that you're in right now, this wonderful spiritual connections and helping people work with spirit.
yeah, I like how you put that, helping people, work with spirit, because that's exactly, it is a calling almost, isn't it? And I think you're sort of thrown in at the deep end and don't realise. I think I've always been psychic since being very young, but perhaps not really realised because I thought other people could see what I could see. And then as a teenager, you sort of get curious. So I was curious mainly about the darker side of things as a teenager. But teenagers are, aren't they? We've got the Halloween and everything that it sort of opens your mind to other things. So I suppose I looked at all different kinds of that there's more to the eye than we can see. Um, so my interest really, I think, really got going when I was in my 30s. And I started to go to the spiritualist church, in Northwich, our little local spiritualist church. I was really interested in how do people talk to somebody who has passed away, how does that happen? So I became intrigued really. And I was getting messages myself and not realizing there were messages, like numbers that repeat themselves and feathers that just suddenly appear when you're thinking about somebody. So that was sort of where my interest lay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was at the spiritualist church with my sister-in-law, Christine, and the medium who was on the rostrum, Alison Bird, came to us after the service, and she said that she'd been told by her spirit guide that we should join her circle. So, and she wasn't local. We were going to Manchester. That's about an hour's drive from where we live. So we went to her for over a year, and we sat in a circle with her. And my interest just grew and grew and grew, and I learned how to sort of hone in on things and to understand things a little bit more. So that's where the interest came, I think, and that's how it sort of developed.
And once you get the bug, that's it, isn't it, really? It just takes
Mm,
life. It's like
yeah,
you have this great desire to learn more, connect better.
yeah,
It it really gathers momentum, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it never ends, I don't think.
No.
Nobody knows everything.
No.
We certainly don't know everything. I'm still learning now. I'm 67 and I'm still learning now. And I think now I feel very privileged that I'm learning through the students that I teach now. I'm giving back that was given to me. And I very often find myself when I'm communicating with my students and I'm working with spirit in that way that they will say something that'll be quite profound, and I think, oh my God, I never even thought of looking at it like that, or I never even thought of that's how a message could be relayed. So yeah, I feel very fortunate. I'm absolutely doing a job that I love, you know.
Yeah. I'm a great believer that spirit communicates the way that we need it. So
Mm,
we'll develop our different clairs and we can use our psychic skills in many different ways. But I
yeah.
really think the upstairs is the title I give them. So that's your angels, your guides, your loved ones in spirit. I think they all communicate the way that we need it. And so everyone's experience of it can be different. You
Mm,
agree?
yeah. Yeah, it is, and everybody comes from a different sort of angle, if
Mm.
you like, because that's from our perspective. We would see things in a certain way. I like to teach through experience. So I can honestly say I have never physically seen an angel. I've never physically seen one, but I believe that they are there because I've felt the presence, but I haven't seen it, and I think that's something as human beings we have to be able to see. If you don't see it, it's not there. If you don't hear it, it's not there. But it of course it is. It's just going into a dimension and tuning yourself into that dimension so that you're aware of how does it feel. What does it say to you within your core? What's it saying to you there? I always find with spirit, when I'm working with spirit energy, especially if I'm doing a reading, that if the thought comes really quickly, that's their communication. If I stop and think about it, that's me. And as a human being, I can very often two and two makes five. But if something comes in really quickly, especially if it's something a little bit bizarre, and you think, oh, I can't say that. But you have to do because it's not for you. You have to pass it on.
So,
So it's wonderful. I just love my job.
yeah, yeah. So your spirit guide, your main guide, how long have you been connected with them?
Um, like he will tell me for centuries, but I'm only aware of him since I started to develop with the medium in Manchester. I became aware of him then, and his guidance is absolutely so valuable to me. And I meditate every morning at 10 o'clock with him, and he gives me my whatever for the day. I do my little tick list for the day of what he wants me to include in the day. But I also have other guides as well. So I have like my doorkeeper. When I'm doing spirit rescue work, for example, they work together. Those two work together. But then I have other ones that come in as well. So I've got Chandra, who is a circle guide. She's the teacher that works with my students. So I've been Italian in a former life. I'm pretty sure, that's how my hands get. So I have to keep sitting on them, Amanda. I'm sorry if they wave in front of the screen and it freezes like that. I have to keep stopping myself. But as far as how long have I physically have been connected to him. I think probably since in my 30s with him. Um, he took me in a meditation on one occasion, and I suddenly recognized that I knew him in this meditation, and it was a past life that I hadn't realized, a past life recall. But he wasn't who I know him to be now, and I wasn't who I am now. So I was a slave girl, and he was a Nubian slave, and we worked in the house of a Turkish merchant, and we were best friends. And he just showed me a scene, and I thought, oh my God, I've known him from that lifetime, and I had forgotten. But this is how much I love working with spirit, is they will provide you with proof of something that you have maybe queried, or maybe thought, oh, do you know what? I've just been given that, but I need a little bit of proof, really, because I'm only human. And this is no word of a lie. I was went online to look for something in particular, and this picture came up, and it was the picture that it sort of flashed through my head of this Nubian slave there. And there wasn't a female in the picture, but there were flamingos in the picture. Well, I love flamingos. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And that was literally within hours of me having that meditation. Now, I sort of thought, is that like, a precognitive dream? I did question it and thought, is that like I've had this image, and then you see it. Is he telling me I'm going to see that picture and it's not a past life recall? However, I was given a word in the meditation. I had no idea what the word meant. And the word was sigil, Sigil. And that I was using a sigil. And I thought, what on earth's a sigil? So I had to Google it, of course. And it's something that you use to scrape the oil off, when somebody's had a massage in the Roman times or whatever, they would use it to scrape the. So to me, that was like, it's not a premonition of something or a precognitive dream state. That's a memory recall that I've had to then go and look up to find out what that meant. So I love it when they do bizarre things like that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. They blow my mind every day.
Yeah.
Every day. I don't think like you're on this journey, and I've had some really profound experiences, and I'd love to hear some of yours. Um, but yeah, they never cease to amaze me. Never ever cease to amaze me. The reason I asked about your spirit guide is your Buddha that you've got behind you, that beautiful
Oh,
gold. Yeah. My main spirit guide's called Chappie, and I've never seen him anything but in that position. He is always sat cross-legged like that. It's always
yeah.
He's got this beautiful face. In fact, somebody sent me a Christmas card a couple of years ago, and I've kept it on my desk ever since because he looks like that.
Oh,
Face.
look at him.
Yeah, that's what
Isn't he
yeah,
beautiful?
that's what
Yes.
it looks like. But he's always.
So my guide, I don't know if you can see up in the corner
Oh
there.
yes, yeah, I can.
Yeah, that's Jeremiah. That's my main guide.
Yeah,
Uh, that's here. I've got like a little altar-y thing going on up there.
yeah, yeah. We like our altars, don't we? We need our.
Yeah, but I also work with Red Cloud as well, and somebody did a beautiful big picture for me of Red Cloud, and he acts as a doorkeeper as well. He's really strong. When he comes forward, the whole of the right side of my face becomes bright red. So my neck from there down, bright red, this ear, bright red. And he stands really close. And I have said to him, can you move back a little bit? And it's like, I don't think so. And he's just stood there. But it's a good indication of that's his physical presence and how strong he is. So I appreciate him.
Wow, yeah. So maybe you could share with us some of your maybe most profound spiritual experiences. Have you got anything that popped?
Oh gosh. One of the things that very first blew my mind was on meeting Jeremiah, and I wanted to physically know he was there. And so I was meditating in my living room. Curtains were drawn to. I was just sat in just an ordinary chair, and I meditated. And this is whilst I was training, and I said to him, I really need to know you there. I sort of know you there, but I need to I feel physically, can you do something, anything physically? He must have been going, oh, for goodness sake, how much does she want? But he uh, he said, right, I could hear the words that were there, hearing, but just they were there. And the words were, open your eyes. So I opened my eyes, and this is no word of a lie. There was a huge, what looked like a soap bubble. I now know it's an orb, a soap bubble like that. It was huge, and it was halfway up the curtains. The curtains are full length. It was halfway up the curtains, and I looked at it, and I thought, well, that's a bit odd because I was on my own. The kids weren't there. Nobody was blowing bubbles. How's that got there? So I actually stood up and it never moved. I stood up and I stood in front of it and it just literally went like that, moved right up like that. And I watched it go all the way up and then it just went pop, and it had gone.
Wow.
And I just burst out laughing. Anybody looking in would have thought I needed to be put away because I was just so gobsmacked that I could physically see that. I didn't know what it was, but of course it was his spirit energy that had formed to show me. I've never seen that with him since. So that I think was the first sort of really profound thing that I'd had experienced. But I've experienced lots of different things in lots of different ways, mainly with the spirit rescue work that I've done. So with the rescue mediums in Canada, I did that from 2000 and the end of 2006 um, to 2011. So there's 89 shows there, which they're all available now on YouTube and veryparanormal.com, but they were just on Canadian TV at first, and then because they're all filmed in Canada. And then it went to a lot of countries all over the world, Australia, America. They did come to England, but only the first three seasons, three series came to England. All the rest were Europe. Um, yeah, all over everywhere really. But really, some really profound stuff because you go into this is how I like to work with spirit. I don't like to be told anything in advance, really. When I'm doing something like that, I like spirit to give me things, and I like to work with a researcher. So the researcher will go away and find things out that we've uncovered during an investigation. And I still work like that now. Um, so we go blindly into somewhere. We do premonitions, so we do what I call my tick list. So this is my tick list, one of my tick lists for the day. That's literally what I still do, whether it's for a reading or whether it's for an investigation. So we write all these premonitions down, and they're just one worders, or it could be that a dog with a funny tail, or it could be an outside area that has a creepy feeling. We do spirit drawings as well, so of what we're going to encounter when we're there, and that can be people, it can be spirit energy. We never know. We just draw something. If you're drawing a period piece, so say you're drawing a lady in a long gown with a big hat with a big feather, she's not from this time period. So things like that, names that come. I don't really work with names a lot, but if names are given, not just me, but my co-hosts as well. So the first three seasons I did was with Christine, and then the last four I did were with Alison Winrider. Um, so yeah, we've been into some very interesting places. You don't know what you're going to encounter. You don't even know how far you're going. So the only thing we're told is we will need to make a stop for a pee break. So that we know we're going to be traveling over 2 hours. if that's the case. Or if they say you need to take an overnight bag, we're either traveling a distance and it's too far for us to go backwards and forwards, or we're staying in the premises that we're doing in the investigation at. So yeah, but boy, we've seen some fabulous places and encountered some very interesting story. I don't believe any of the things we've encountered could not be explained. There's a reason for everything. It's just getting through the layers to find out why that spirit is hanging around there. There's a reason for that. So they're not just there for the sake of it, just because they want a bit of fun with you, unless they were a bit of a joker when they were alive, of course. But there's a lot of different reasons why spirits are still hanging around and not necessarily trapped. They might just want to give you a message or to let you know that they're unhappy about something, or just to tell you their story. So I tend to do that kind of work. That's what I did with rescue mediums. I'm also doing very similar work at the moment with a young Bolton medium, Megan Downs, and we're doing something called Haunted History. So it's haunted history, but we are psychics on the ghost trail. That's what it is officially called. And we investigate places that are known to have a lot of history, like Chester, for example. It's a Roman city. We know there's a lot of history there. So we go and see what we can uncover when we're there. We let the spirits we encounter, we don't plan anything, we just go and see where spirit are leading us to. So it's a little bit different in that it's a trail. It is a ghost trail. They lead you from one place to another. And touch wood, we've never been refused permission to go into a building. If we have to go into a building, and which is really rather nice. So we've done 5 episodes so far. We're just in the middle now of filming the next season. We've done 4 so far. We've got a researcher who goes in, does the research after we've done the investigation. Same sort of thing to rescue mediums, really, because if you come up with something, it could be bizarre. It could be anything at all. It could be like, I don't know, a woolly jumper stuck in a corn mill, yeah, I'm just plucking that out of thin air. And then the researcher will go and research that, and she may come up with something that would fit that scenario. So that makes it interesting. Then we go back and we talk about it and we share the information, and we film that. We film sharing the information with each other. So that's something I love to do. Inspector Paranormal is another show I'm involved in. Now that's a podcast, and there are 4 members of the podcast. So you've got Tom Barrow, who is the creator and the narrator of the podcast. And he goes into places like somebody's home, they're having problems, or the workplace, they're having problems. Or somebody that's experienced something, an actual experience, like a fisherman who was fishing somewhere one night and he could hear footsteps and there was no one there. So he investigates these kind of true experiences. And then he will come back to the team. So the team is me as the psychic, and we have Eli Bisset, who is the historian. He calls himself the mythstorian, because he looks into the myths and history of places. And then we've got a skeptic with us as well. So it gives you a broad spectrum of the whole thing. So we've recently been to London, actually, because we were Inspector Paranormal was up for an award. We were the top 8 in the country in the podcast awards in London. So we were really sort of thrilled to be nominated. We didn't win, but we had a fantastic time and we met some amazing people. So yeah, that's why I say I love my life, as you probably gathered.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think when you do, what was your interest, your hobby as your career.
Yeah,
It's just a different level, isn't it, really?
it totally is. Yeah,
Have
yeah. I
you?
mean, I have. This is how wonderful I think. But you'll have to tell me to shut up, Amanda, because I will keep on talking. um, this is how wonderful Spirit are. 3 years ago, I made the decision to close my shop. I've been there 22 years, and I made the decision to close the shop. And the minute I made the decision, I got an invitation to film in Japan. And I was like, I believe that that would not have come had I still had the shop. It was just the right time to go. And so I did a 2 hour documentary for them, and it was a success. So they asked me back twice more. Well, I've been 4 times in total over the past 3 years to Japan. I've filmed 3 documentaries for them. And that really put me out of my comfort zone because I was in a country, I didn't speak Japanese. I had to have an interpreter with me. Um, they were absolutely lovely. I love Japan. I fell in love with Japan. And the culture is so, so different. So I had big cultural shock there as well. But they are just sort of opening up to the mediumship side of things and to the energy work. So I'm like I feel it's more energy work that I'm doing when I'm there. And I have to present it in a slightly different way. So the first time I was there, it was sort of like I said, I don't want to do competition things, because the Japanese are very into all this sort of like the competition-y things. I didn't want to do that because I take my work seriously, and I respect what I do. And but they were lovely with me. They said, "No, we just want to showcase your work. We want to showcase how somebody who is psychic can maybe help in situations with everyday in an everyday situation. Just for example, an animal that has been lost." And the owner is desperately trying to find the animal. And so, one of the tasks I had in the first trip there was to try and find a missing cat. It had been missing for, I think it was 8 days when I got there. I can't remember. I think it was 8 days when I got there. It was 8 days. And so, my opponents, if you like, how they worked it. They were opponents. We were still a team, but we didn't actually work together. We worked independently. That was a mother and a son, and that was their profession, was finding lost animals. So they had lots of equipment that they would put down. They worked through the night because cats, the cat would move about in the night. So they worked through the night. So they had a team of cameras and sound and everything with them. And then I had a team with me. And so we had to try and find this cat. And we met the homeowner who was lovely. And the only way I could connect was for her. I wanted to hold something that belonged to the cat. So whatever the cat had, the bedding, the cat slept on. So I held that, and immediately I had an image of something wrong with the cat's paw. There was a problem with the cat's paw, and I felt that the cat was sort of communicating with me through the energy exchange with the psychometry. And even though it was a Japanese cat, I felt it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thought is the same in any language. And so I started to draw things down. I drew a broom, I drew a wooden area, like a round thing. I wasn't sure what it was, corrugated iron, and being underneath something. I could see underneath something. And that the cat told me it had had a fallout with its brother, and that it had spied an opening in the door and got out really quickly. So when we spoke to the homeowner, she said, yeah, they had been fighting, the two had been fighting, and then the cat just disappeared. Anyway, we did find the cat, and it was the team that the mother and son team, they set up the trap for the cat, and they did locate it and find it, but they where the cat was, where the cameras picked it up, is what I'd drawn.
Flipping
And
heck.
you could see the cat going into that area. And when I went into the area, it was a shrine, and it was underneath. As you go into the shrine, you go underneath, is corrugated iron. There was an air vent that was round there. There was a little hole that you could crawl underneath, which is where a storage area. And there was a flat broom on top of the wood that I'd drawn. And yeah, the film footage showed the cat there. So that totally, it sort of like it took me out of my comfort zone, because I'm communicating with a cat and I don't speak the language. I mean, I can communicate with animals anyway, but yeah,
Speak.
I know. Yeah. And but it sort of progressed on from that. There were other things that they set me to do, but the idea was to showcase how the two teams could actually work together. If they worked together, you could maybe find that cat sooner than we actually did. And it was returned to its owner, and she was very grateful. And it was okay. And here's the thing, it had torn one of its claws off
Oh,
on its foot. It was seen by the vet, and the vet said it would, it would heal up okay. It was just very swollen. So that was sort of, when something's given to you like that, and you think, oh wow, that's fantastic. That spirit should give you something like that.
mm.
And the cat should communicate in that way as to why it couldn't come home. It was probably nursing its paw, I don't know, or just thinking, I'm not going back to my brother. But it's sort
Yeah,
of progressed from that as well.
do all this TV work then?
Sorry?
How did you get into the TV work? How's that come about?
Oh, with TV work, getting into it, family history. It is because I love family history. So I was researching my great grandfather. So I'm researching my family, and online, I was with Ancestry or something at the time. I discovered a lady in Canada was also researching the same family, and we discovered we were related. So her three times, her two times great grandfather, and my two times great grandfather were brothers. So that's how, we sort of. So she said, I'll research Canada, you research in England, because I had been told that my great grandfather had emigrated to Canada. He didn't, he never emigrated to Canada, but I was told he did. But people believe that that's what happened. His brother emigrated to Canada.
Right.
And so she got in touch with the man who was living at one of the houses she'd found where my great uncle Oliver was living. And she got in touch with the guy who lived there. His name is Michael Lamport. And when she talked to him about the kind of work that I did, he was sort of quite interested. So she said to him, I've got a cousin in England. She's psychic, and this is why we're looking at, the different properties. She's doing all of this work. We're trying to find out where he came to. And she'd been told that he'd gone to Canada, but actually he hadn't. It was the brother that went to Canada. So he said, "Well, I'll go and see what I can find out." And then when she told him the kind of work that I did, he had a word with his colleague, Gregory Shepherd. And 6 months later, he contacted me and said, we'd really like to come and film you on one of your investigations. Is it okay? So they came to England, and Christine and I met them. We filmed it in Derby at the Moon Hotel in Derby. They took the film footage back to Canada, and W Network loved it. And they said, right, shall we get a pilot going here? So, yeah, so we filmed a pilot, and then, yeah, the rest is history. Rescue Mediums was born. So all that, you see, and I believe my great uncle Oliver was instrumental in getting me there. I think my family members upstairs were going, yes, this is what she needs to do. This is where she needs to be. Yeah, so I'm just a little trivia. fact, Michael Lamport was two of the voices in the original Wombles. I know. He was born in Southend-on-Sea, but when he was 20, he moved to Canada. And so, yeah, so anyway, that's how I got into TV in the first instance. Um, and I've done a few different TV things over the years. My Psychic Life, Megan Downs was also in that. Feathers was featured in that, myself and Steve Furlong. Um, but the Japan one is it's only filmed in Japan. It's not available over here. And I absolutely love the work I'm doing there because not that first show that I did was to sort of to see how I could work. And then when they knew how I could work, I went into the mystery and history side of things. So I had two different historians who worked alongside me, and I went into I looked at historical things that had happened. They wanted to uncover things about someone who was well known, and but they didn't tell me about that person, so I had to sort of figure out things about that person. One of them was a Japanese samurai warrior, and they allowed me to hold his sword. I'd got gloves on and a mask, and obviously it's in a museum. The museum was run by his five times great niece, and so I was holding this sword, sitting on the floor, cross-legged, which is not easy when you're my age, sitting on the floor. They all sit on the floor in Japan. Literally just sit down, no problem whatsoever. And it's like, oh my God, we're just so not used to it, are we? so I was
Yeah.
so I sat there with this sword. I've got the historian there and the lovely lady who is the curator of the museum. And all of a sudden I got an image of a lock of hair. I felt this like a pull. And in my mind, I could see this warrior handing me a lock of hair. So I said, do you have a lock of his hair? And the interpreter interpreted what I was saying, and she just went like this, burst into tears. And she said, how do you know that? It's locked up in a safe.
Wow.
And it's like, what? And the historian looked at her. He said, we've been friends for over 40 years. You've never told me that. And he's written 8 books on that time period and about this guy in particular. Yeah, yeah. So isn't it wonderful, though, how they do that?
Yeah.
You know, so I love that history side of things when they show me things like that. Eventually, we got to actually see the lock of hair, which was fantastic. And I got to meet some amazing people there because what they did, they brought in well-known celebrities in Japan to be part of the show, to walk around with me as I'm saying what I'm feeling in one area and who I'm connecting with. And they were there witnessing it. So I had 2 or 3 different celebrities with me all the time. I couldn't repeat their names to you because I couldn't even pronounce them, but they were lovely, gorgeous people. Um, yeah, a really, really, really special time. Yeah, so I went to a lot of museums, held a lot of artifacts because the psychometry is something that I use a lot. I use my hands to gauge the energy as well, going through the eras or going through an object as well. So, yeah, so there you go. I'm waffling on again, Amanda.
All right. What would you say to people if they wanted to work with spirit? What's your best advice?
Um, to trust, really, I think, and to respect, and not what I call go all lilac. And what I mean by that is, the door suddenly bursts open and you go, oh my God, there's a spirit come through the door. No, let's check out and see, is there a window open that's caused that to happen? So be practical as well. That's what I mean by respect. Be practical about how you approach it. Don't just assume. You can always ask for more guidance. But I think joining a circle, or finding a mentor who has experience that will be able to guide you in the right way, joining a group, being with like-minded people, that's always good because you grow together then,
Yeah.
that's the thing. And
And you,
meditation as well. Meditation is the key to any psychic development, really.
yeah. Yeah, and it's nice to be with people that don't roll their eyes at you when you say you weird and wonderful stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if this happens to you, but I mean, you're well known because of, you're very involved in the magazine and everything. I'm not quite so well known here in England. I'm known in Canada, well known in Canada, and I'm getting well known in Japan now, which is quite bizarre. Um, but in England, maybe not so much. But when people say to me, "What do you do for a living?" I will say. Well, I'm a medium, and then I just wait and see for the reaction. And you either get really or oh really, it's that kind of action. But I never offer it unless I'm asked. I don't go up to someone and say this is what I do.
Right.
And I would never sort of enforce my energy onto somebody else unless they asked for it. So, but that's me. But ask me and I'll tell you.
I sometimes tell them a totally different career because say you go into like a spa or something like that and you have
Yeah.
treatment, they go, and what do you do? They then want to drill you for information and share their
Yes.
experiences. And like you just wanted to switch off for an hour or something. So
Yeah.
I will actually say something totally random, just
Yeah.
to just to give them a decoy. Because sometimes you just need that, don't you? You need a little bit of space. But yeah, you're either given like, oh my goodness, like that people that are scared of it, or
Yeah.
they are absolutely fascinated and then just want to like, yeah, find out loads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
totally
And you do get those people, don't you, who go, oh, and they take the ring off and give you the ring. What can you tell me about this? And it's like, I don't work like that. I do not like my space being invaded. So I wouldn't invade your space. So please don't invade mine, you
right.
know.
Yeah. Oh, it's been lovely talking to you, Jackie. It really has, because we've known
I've
each
enjoyed myself.
other a good old few years now, but we've never actually got to chat, but now we have. Now we have.
Yeah.
So you've obviously got your Business of Feathers Academy.
Yeah.
What does that do? What do you offer with that now?
Well, because I've not got the shop anymore, we don't offer, sort of the crystals and things that we had before or the cards. Um, but I do still do, readings here in my little lovely little place in my garden, in my little spiritual place. And I come here even when I'm not working because it's such a lovely energy here. So tutorials, I do them here on Zoom. We have classes on a Tuesday night, but I hire a place for that because we do groups of up to about 8 to 10 people on a Tuesday night. But they run just for a specific amount of time, and then we have someone else. So we have a waiting list for that. Um, then past life. I love doing past life stuff, so I do past life recall, healing. Not so much with the healing, really anymore because we used to have a healing room at Feathers as well. So, and I haven't got that here. I've just got the one room. So, I will do healing if anybody requests healing, but mainly it's readings and teaching, mentorship, and doing all of my investigative work that I do,
Right.
But I travel for that. I'll travel wherever. We're still traveling mainly in the northwest of England. Feathers still has an investigative team that we don't film with that. I do that with Steve Furlong, and he was part of Feathers. The two of us ran Feathers together. So he's my spiritual rock. I have these Steves in my life. So he's my spiritual rock, and my husband, Steve, he is my rock.
Oh, nice, nice. You would have loved the house that I lived in Windermere. I've lived in a lot of houses, but in this particular one,
Yeah.
there's an awful lot of activity that went on in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. We could hear somebody cutting wood at night, and yet there was nobody in that area. It's
Oh.
like it was actually the entrance to the house. It was like a massive big porch, and my kids' room used to be above that. And they say, "Why does Grandad?" Because my parents lived in the annex next door. Why does Grandad cut wood at 12 o'clock at night? And I go, I don't think he does. But you could hear wood being chopped. We had a lot of activity. You could always hear somebody walking up and down the landing. We had a fire. They literally started a fire in the fireplace. We had a void in the house where nothing electrical would work. So you'd be vacuuming, hoovering, get to that bit, wouldn't work, get to the other side of it, would start working again. Loads of stuff. Things moved. I loved it. I absolutely loved it living in that. Yeah,
Yeah,
very.
sounds like my kind of house. It's
Mhm.
funny because I've lived in the same house now for over 30 years
Wow.
in here. That's it, put my roots down and that's it. But
Mm.
then my mum is just down the road. She's 93 now, and she's literally, I could go to the end of my drive, she can go to the end of hers, and we can wave. So it's convenient for me to be here.
Yeah. Oh, well, I can't settle anywhere, but then again, this planet isn't home, is it really? So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it has been nice talking to you today, and we'll put all your information in the show notes so people can get
Oh, thank you.
yeah, find out more about what you do. But yeah, good luck with the TV stuff. Sounds very exciting.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me on. I've really enjoyed spending time with you, Amanda.
You too. Thank you, Jackie. This is your angelic guidance from the 10th to the 16th of November. I've got the cards going. Let's see what they want us to know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, they're a little bit all over the place. So do watch out for energies knocking you off kilter this week, particularly around Thursday. Almost feels like you can't get the momentum going. Well, starting the week with the love card. The love card is, well, it's as it says, it's all about love. That's what angels are. Angels are pure, unconditional love, and they love you no matter what, warts and all. But can you learn to love yourself a little bit more? The angels are asking you to love on yourself a bit more today. So make sure you are doing that. Give yourself the love that they give you. That would be really helpful. The next card we've got is the support card. The support card, oh, just look how that matches perfectly with me. Do love things when they match. Support card is all about remembering to ask the angels for the help that you need. So long, we suffer for so long, struggling to try and get things working for ourselves. Well, we could be asking our angels to help us. We forget to ask. So, what can you ask your angels to help you with today? That is the message. As we move into Wednesday, this is where the energy of Wednesday, Thursday feels like it's almost like you're spinning your wheels, but you can't get going. It's the decision card. So, what decision do you need to make? Particularly, what do you I feel like I've got the titles going on now with the angels. What do you need to let go of? What's holding you back? Have that conversation with yourself. What do I need to let go of? What can I surrender? Because it feels like it's a decision that you need to make to let things go. And then on Thursday, when you do, you're going to have the focus. It might only come later in the day, do be warned, because it feels like the first part of the day, it's almost like it's just sliding around everywhere. But the energy as you move through the day is going to get more focused. And you've been reminded to focus on what it is that you want rather than what it is that you don't. If you haven't listened to the episode, oh no, I think it's coming next week. Forget what I've said about that. I'm recording a big batch of them all together. But there is a good episode you will want to watch next week. But keep your focus on what you want. And on Friday, we've got the sleep card. Now, yes, you might be experiencing some sleep issues, but more than that, pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to how your dreams are making you feel. That's the important message there. So if you're wanting a good night's sleep, ask your angels. If you want your angels to help you decipher a dream, ask them for that. Remembering that message from Tuesday that we need to ask for the help. Angels can't help us unless we ask. So we need to start asking. As we move into the weekend, we've got the Michael card. Michael gives you courage. He gives you strength. He also cut cords of attachment. So, when I said on Wednesday about surrendering, releasing, what's no longer serving you, do this again. Check in at the weekend. Ask Michael to cut those cords once you've decided what you need to let go of. He'll come in with his purpley blue light, cut those cords of attachment so you can feel freer. You can move forward with more ease. We don't need to be carrying all of this with us, do we? We really don't. And Sunday is all about happiness. What will make you happy? Do what makes you happy. Stop doing the people pleasing. There you go. I've said it. Stop doing the people pleasing. Do what makes you happy. Amanda gives you permission. Go for it. Go wild. That's it. Have a lovely, lovely week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If so, please hit follow and share my message by sharing with your friends. It would be amazing if you can leave a review. All this will help, and it activates the universal law of the more you give, the more you receive. So it's a win-win. You can find more good stuff between episodes over on social media. Just search The Angel Mystic on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, or check out the links in the show notes. I'd love for you to connect more over in my free group in Abundance Manifesting, all on Facebook. Hope to see you there.